Good morning, world. Today's Tanya is going to teach us what it really means to be woke. Woke in the most deep, metaphysical, and cosmic manner. Give a listen. Okay, so here we are, as I said, on days Iyar. And we have to remember that Iyar is the letters Ani, I, the Yud Yud Hashem, Ani Hashem Rafa'echa. I am Hashem who heals you. This is a month designed for healing. So, Hayom Yom. Yeah, this is the Yom letters. This is the Frierdiker Rebbe tells us that his grandfather, the Rebbe Maharash, the son of the Tzemach Tzedek, was born on this day. So when he was 7 years old, that is when the Rebbe Maharash was a kid, 7 years old, he was once tested in his studies by his father, the Tzemach Tzedek. My grandfather did so well in the test, that his teacher was enormously impressed. Unable to restrain himself, he said to the Tzemach Tzedek, "Well, what do you say? Hasn't he done marvelously?" Or in the terms of our Sphira, Seferis, hasn't he done beautifully? And therefore the Tzemach Tzedek said, "What do you expect? What is there to be surprised about when Teferis within Teferis does well?" This is Teferis of Teferis, the double beauty, right? How beautiful. What do you expect from someone who's so beautiful? When we talk about Sfiras Omer, we're always talking about a pair, an inter-inclusion of pairs, and there are many meanings of the word Teferis. One is beauty, and one is integration. So you could put these two together. There's a beauty in integration and balance. And I just want to tell you very briefly, I had a situation at work yesterday, going into last night. I was working late last night, and it required that I come forth with some kind of sternness. But at the same time, I didn't want to lose the relationship. So I had to figure out basically this, how to be stern and at the same time be kind. And that is an example of Teferis, which only in retrospect did I think about this morning, that's what I was trying to do. Be stern, but at the same time be kind, because I didn't want to lose the relationship. So that's one way of taking Teferis Shabbat Teferis. Many others. Let's go into our Tanya. Lessons in Tanya. Starting a new chapter, chapter 44, on page 650 in this book. And in this original text, it is chapter Mem Daled, 44, on page 124. All right, we've been speaking about two kinds of love, two levels of love. We had two levels of fear, which I've reviewed for about 3 days, so I won't go back into that. But the two levels of love we will review. Ahavas Oilam, the lower level of love, which is Ahava, love connected with the world. That is, with pondering, meditating upon the infinite intricacy of this world and how that is being managed by an intricately infinite and unreachable and unfathomable source called Hashem. And only because of that does all my body and soul and everything I see hang together. And that creates a feeling of love, which is called a love that's connected with the contemplation of the world, Avos Olam. And then there's Ahava Rabbah, the great love, which is the love often expressed as the love of a child to a parent. It's a quiet love. The first love is a longing kind of love. The second love is a quiet love, being one with each other, having the experience of being one with Hashem. So he starts this chapter by telling us, and here we go, Hine, behold, pay attention. Kol medregas ha'ava mebez medregas elu. All the levels of love from these two levels of love, which I just explained, Ava Rabba v'Avis Oilam, the great love and the love associated with the world, Nichlechas l'kama bechinas u'medregas, are divided into many different levels, la'en kates, without end, kol chad lefum shira delay, dependent totally on you, the person. Each one of us is very different, and we experience things very differently. In other words, we can have a common object that we're looking at, a work of art's a very good example, and each of us can have quite different reactions to it because of the nature of our souls. So similarly, these levels of love, he said, though they're generally categorized as I explained them, but the way they are manifest and the way each person takes them, it depends on the person. As is written in the Holy Zohar, on the pasuk that says, it's a pasuk in Mishlei in Proverbs, Neida Bashorim Baila, right? We say, Eshes Chayil, Neida Bashorim Baila. Her husband is known in the gates. But the word shar also means to measure, meaning everybody experiences things according to their own measure. But the Holy One, however, excuse me, not Rak, who is the Master? The Master is known according to your level. The Master is Da Kuchabricho. This is the Holy One, blessed be He. Each one of us experiences the Holy One differently. Because God, the Holy One, blessed be He, Kuchabricho, He clings to each and every one of us, the Kol Chad, to each and every one of us. This is the language of the Zohar, according to what's measured out in one's heart. Therefore, and therefore we call these fundamental attributes for service of God, fear and love, we call them the things which are hidden to God. Hashem knows your heart, and He knows my heart, and He knows the difference between your heart and my heart. These things are known to God. The Torah of mitzvahs, on the other hand, Torah and mitzvahs, Reza, question?
Yeah, I just want to, if we could say a little more about this, the istabik l'kol chad l'fum ma'adim ashar believe. Does this mean that even someone, like sometimes you have someone who might not be a learned person, like that's what the Baal Shem Tov used to, kind of, there are a lot of Baal Shem Tov stories about that, about someone who was not necessarily a learned person, but his heart, he had a lot of betachon and a lot of clinging to Hashem.
Right. Yes.
Or is this talking about using da'as, which would be like a totally different kind of thing?
No, it's talking about the former.
Uh-huh.
This is not, da'as is the kind of ava soilim that comes with contemplation and one's mindful, work in understanding da'as and knowing God. This is the natural level of love that's rooted in every Jewish soul, whether the soul has learned it or knows nothing. The natural love and fear in each soul and in each person is different. And Hashem knows the difference. That's what we've said so far.
I think that someone who isn't learned could be putting a lot of effort into connecting with Hashem.
Yeah, of course.
It's not the way of learning. That's not the way the person is connecting. They're more connecting with, for instance, accepting their lot in life in a happy way, or
yes, that's true.
Or batachon, trusting Hashem.
Absolutely true. But here we're not talking about the avodah or what the person is doing. We're talking about what's there in everybody, although differently, and how Hashem sees what's there in everybody, although differently.
Thank you for clarifying.
Rivka, you have your hand up also.
Yeah, I think it makes it really clear in the very first pasuk you were reading, And that's one of my favorite expressions, Kol chad lefum she'ur delay. Every person according to the way Hashem created them. Everybody is different.
Everybody's different.
And that's goes to the same point we were just making.
Therefore, since everybody is different, and this is there in everybody, both the natural love and the natural fear is there, and Hashem sees this and sees the difference in everything. Since Hashem is, these are the hidden things, right? Hidden, they can be hidden within you, meaning you're not even, we'll go a step further, you're not even aware of them yet, right? But they're there. These are qualities of the soul which are intrinsic to the soul, and your quality of love and your quality of fear of love, which is intrinsic to you, is different from the quality of that in someone else. But since they're there, albeit hidden, therefore this love and this fear, which is deeply rooted and innate to the godly soul, is something which is called the hidden things to Hashem Elokeinu. Hashem sees those things. Whereas v'torah mitzvahs ein haniglas lanu. Right? When we do Torah, when you observe someone doing a mitzvah, you can see what's going on. When you observe yourself doing a mitzvah, you can see what's going on. Because the majority of mitzvahs are mitzvahs masiyas, mitzvahs of deed, and deed are externalized behaviors. So mitzvahs hein haniglas lanu. The mitzvahs are known to us, ulabanenu, and to our children, la'ases, to do them and how to do them. Ki Torah achas u'mishpat echad lekulanu. Love and fear, the midah of love and fear is different and in different quality, and different force, or different and different relative hiddenness or revelation to each and every one of us. But Torah achas u'mishpat echad lekulanu. We all have the same Torah. We all have the same mitzvahs to do. Yeah, now don't get lost in. Yes, our kavanas will be different, but the masa is the same. Masa and the masa, masa is the main thing. Torah achas u'mishpat echad lekulanu. There's one Torah, one judgment to all of us. Bekiyim kol Torah u'mitzvahs b'chinas masa, as we are commanded to do and fulfill doing the Torah indeed. Coming back to the love and fear. The expression of that rooted love and fear, which is implanted in each and every one differently, and which comes to expression through das, through the faculty of knowledge. Yeah, so that's different from the act of mitzvah. There's a different quality. That's according to the expression of it, is according to the way you take and are connected with Hashem, in your brain and in your heart. Okay, having said all that, he now introduces a totally new idea. However, there is a singular love. There is a love which includes both the levels of the great love, which I spoke about at the introduction, and Avos Olam, which I spoke about. And this love is equal to all Jewish souls. And it's a love which is an inheritance to us from our fathers. And this is indicated, this love, where do we see it? In the Zohar. On the Pasuk says, Nafshi, my soul, which is a reference to God. You, God, who are my soul. Avasicha balayla, I long for you. All of us have a longing for Hashem, although we may not be even be able to label it a love of Hashem. We all have an intrinsic need for to be social. We're social animals. And that's the lowest level of it, to connect with other people. People go crazy in isolation. That isolation is a totally unnatural state for any human. Every human has a desire to be connected. But I'll darshan a little bit here, but that desire for connection could be balayla, it could be in the dark, but it's there. Because every person has a love for the Holy One, which is the love of the soul, the love of the soul and the spirit, as the soul and the spirit are connected with the body. The gufa rachim lon, and the body longs for them and loves them, loves and longs for the connection. This is a general human attribute. Everybody has this. And speaking particularly of Jews, this is an inheritance, and it's a different quality, and it's inheritance. Where do we get this from? We get our longing from it in a particular nuance from Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, etc., Rivka, Leah, etc. That's an inheritance. It's part of our godly DNA. And this is what's written, Nafshi avasicha, says, my soul longs for you at night. Why is there an innate longing to connect to something? And the opposite of it, we talked about this with fear, and there's an innate repulsion from not being connected because it leads to very negative feelings, despondency, etc., depression, and worse. Because you, Hashem, nafshi, you are my soul. And you are my true life. Lokach avasicha, therefore I long for you. Pirish, which means sha'ani mis'ava v'toyev lach, I desire and long for you, ka'odem hamis'ava l'chai nafshoy, as a person longs to be alive. It's a natural thing to want to be alive. It's a natural thing to want to connect with Hashem. And going back to, if a person is not feeling well and is feeling weak, this is the metaphor, right? There's something lacking in the nutrition, quote, the spiritual, godly nutrition that you're getting, right? And his person, and he's exhausted, so he has a longing and desire, that his soul, his life force, Hashem, ultimately, which is your soul, nafshi, but you have a longing that my life force should return to me. Nafshi, that should tashuv nafshi elov, that your soul should return to you. When you wake up from your sleep. So when you're asleep at night, you at least superficially lose the consciousness of this. And when you wake up in the morning and you say, Moida Ani, it's an expression of more than happiness. It's an expression of joy. It should be an expression of joy that your soul, your godly force, has reconnected with you in an open way and can be expressed. So, so just like a person longs to wake up in the morning with a chayas and a life being reinvested in him or her, so I desire, I long and I desire for the light of the Infinite One, blessed be He, who is the Hai HaChayim, who is the life of lights, Amitim, the true life of lights, the Hamshiche Bekirbe, to draw it within me. It's there, but I want to draw it out into all my corpuscles, all my bones, all my limbs and organs. Want to be alive with the expression of life, of my soul, which is God Himself. And how do you do that? You do that by occupying yourself in Torah, as we are doing. I have to acknowledge that Rivka is in Eretz Yisrael, but most of us here are doing it when we wake up in the morning, right? And probably there are other things that go on in Eretz Yisrael earlier in the morning. But it's Al Yidei Esek HaTorah B'Hakitzi B'Shenasi. When I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do, I say Moida Ani, we, all, and we come and we learn. We take a look in the Torah. And this, it says, when I wake up from my sleep in the night, this is talking about a person like who's disturbed or missing something and wakes up in the night I mean, I'm laughing because I know a few people like this who wake up in the night and wonder what to do. So they open a book, they open their phone, etc. Well, there's an alternative. Open up a sefer, get a little involved in, let Torah be, which is the infusion of life itself in the Torah. Let that be what you do when you get up in the middle of the night. And when you get up in the night and you contemplate or learn and know and look into the Torah, because the Torah and Hashem are one. That's the expression in Aramaic. The Torah and Hashem, the Holy One, is one. As it written in the Zohar there, the boy banosh mirachimto de kuchabricho, that a person who desires to connect with the love of Hashem, mikum b'chol laila, let him get up in the night, l'shtadler b'chulchane ad tafra, and get engaged in the surface of Hashem from that point on until the morning breaks. That's today's Tanya. A wake-up call. Not a call to wake up, but a call to what you're doing when you are awake, or when you'd like to be more awake. The real meaning of the word woke. Anybody?
Can I ask a side question?
Go.
What's the expression?
Side question?
Barnash. Yeah.
Barnash is a person. A person.
I know, but why? What is it? Why Barnash? What is it?
Literally means Barnash is the son of a soul. I mean, but that's Barnash is
Nash?
a way.
Yeah,
Nash. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's.
But it's never it's never translated. Barnash is.
I know it always says a person, but that's what I'm saying.
But you could take it apart like that. What's a person? A person is not just the physical
I knew
body.
bar, but I didn't know Nash.
Yeah, like bar mitzvah is the son of a mitzvah, right? Bar,
right.
And Barnash, it's also Nush is man, Nushim. I know, like from the word Anushim.
Anushim.
Yeah, so soul man. And so the son of a man, son of a soul. A person, right. Let's see here. We have an order here. Riza, go ahead.
I just want to point this out that it's a lot. People look for so many different things to do to increase their vitality and energy.
Right.
And this is this is what the Zohar is telling us. The Zohar, which is like, a very high level secrets of the Torah. The secret that the Zohar is telling us is that Torah study is it's really it's very it's life itself, right?
Yes.
It's the life of the true life. And I think it's also, we have to remind ourselves this, like we're starting our day, that it's pretty early for some people to be up, to like make it a priority, and we're starting our day, and this enlivens our day. That's that's how we have to. And also I think about like the Rebbe who was not a youngster, and we're saying now that there is a spiritual energy.
Mm-hmm.
He went on very little sleep, and he was very.
The Torah is your life force. So open it up and get into the service in the middle of the night. Yes, yes. Thank you. Elisheva, I think.
Yeah. I really liked the new definition for woke.
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to say from my own experience, when I'm tired and I get up in the middle of the night, my brain is not ready to start thinking anything. I don't want to be, because Torah, like, I have to be ready and prepared and alert, and even
I hear you.
I downloaded even like Gem TV, and I'm not always emotionally ready to hear the Rebbe speak.
I get you. Well, he's talking about a different kind of person. a person who gets up in the night and is, what can I do? You know, I can't go back to sleep. So what can I do? So some people are, if you,
kind of thinking, sitting here and brainstorming and like, oh, so I could listen to some, Nir Manusis on, audio. I could just not be so involved. But then like, oh, it's too much brain work to try to follow. And what occurred to me eventually after my thinking is that Sipurei Tzadikim would be the most appropriate for me. And maybe people feel that way too, but that listening to stories of tzaddikim, it's considered learning Torah, right?
Sure. So that works for you?
That would work, because then like
it could work. The other thing that could work is to go back to sleep.
Right, but I'm saying like if we want to stay holy and we want to take advantage of, let's say, our awake time in the middle of the night, but we don't have the wherewithal to start learning Torah. Maybe that could be another.
Yeah. Get involved in something Toradic, whatever works for you. Yes.
Just to I keep a copy of the memoirs by my bed in case I get.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But you have to remember too, if you're going to get up and study Torah, you have to wash your hands and you have to say the brachas like that.
Sure.
So it's not so simple.
Right. That's
what
I say.
Depends. What's your goal? You're going to stay awake or you want to go back to sleep?
That's why I say you might be.
I can't think when I'm in the middle of the night. No.
So it's when you do wake up in the night and you are disturbed and you can't go back to sleep and you're fidgeting. So get fidgeting in something Toradic. That's all.
Sometimes that I fall asleep. I don't know if that's like what you want to hear, but that's what happens.
No, fine. This is for the person who can't get back to sleep.
No, I'm saying that when I listen to certain lecturers, I fall back asleep.
Oh, okay. Well,
not you, not Rabbi Kamen. Other, other things. It just takes your mind off your worries, and then you fall back asleep.
Okay, well, that's pretty nice. You've washed your brain with something Toradic, and it's calmed you and put you back to sleep. Beautiful.
But I think our takeaway for today, our Uvachain, is people have to make more movies based on Sipurei Tzadikim so that we can have entertainment when we wake up.
All right. I like that one.
So let's do this.
Great. All right. Thank you all. Anybody else want to chime in here? Okay. Till we meet again. Tiferet Shabbat Tiferet.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Take care.